Visualize Standing Rock, North Dakota, land of oil wells and Indians. David versus Goliath, big oil versus small American tribe. The issue is the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe Indians are trying to prevent the building of the Dakota Access Pipeline called the DAPL from being built, claiming it runs through their sacred lands, and it has drawn protesters from all different nations. But are they peaceful protesters or professional agitators? I believe they are the latter. These entitled activists come from areas far and wide and have co-opted the Standing Rock movement. Are they there for peace, with peace being the key word for peaceful assembly? I understand their passions, their concern, and their complaints, but these eco-warrior activists, do they really want peace? Can they be honest about their cause? Standing Rock claims there were no notifications, but in fact the Army Corps of Engineers reached out a dozen times prior to the project being built. They say they were not involved. There were 389 meetings with 55 different tribes, and the Standing Rock chose not to attend, saying their position, we're just not going to allow it at all. The Standing Rock tribe is using the government bureaucracy to fight their battle for them. Even the UN got involved. The tribe claims they were not consulted, so they filed lawsuits with the Historic Prevention Act, the National Water Act, and the Environmental Protection Act. Now, I will admit that the DAPL used a fast-track system called Nationwide Permit 12, but it was legal. The facts: the pipeline does not go through their sacred lands. There were 10,000 protesters at the height of the controversy, and when asked to leave, they told the Standing Rock tribe, we're not leaving. They had to get kicked out. Still, they followed a violent agenda. Environmental activist Andrew J. O'Connor made the comment, I would have no problem with a sniper shooting an oil worker off a drill site, he told the ColoradoPolitics.com. That bullet could have been meant for me. These water protectors left tons of garbage and refused to help clean up. They could have caused a possible environmental crisis when the snow thawed out and it ran into the river. It took 835 dumpsters to remove the garbage left behind at a cost of taxpayers of $1.1 million. These demonstrators are breaking the laws, squatting on the farmers' and ranchers' lands to protect Indian lands. The Dakota Access Pipeline does not go through Standing Rock. It already has 8 different pipelines running along Lake Oahe, which runs along Standing Rock Reservation. And at its closest point, that pipeline will be 70 miles away from Standing Rock. This chart you see shows the hypocrisy. 175,000 gallons to 200,000 gallons of gasoline was sold on the Indian lands prior to the protest. Again, hypocrisy. As a safety director in the oil fields, I remember the story in 2015 of a septic tank operator driving onto Fort Berthold Indian Reservation to dump illegally his waste into the river. As he tried to sneak out, he was caught. He could have faced a $50,000 fine and possible criminal prosecution. I've worked on the reservations. I've used their taro system. The tribes lease their land for oil fracking all the time. Nothing happens on Indian lands they're not aware of. In conclusion, the government is trying to help them using bureaucracy, the EPA and the unions. The protesters had to be kicked out, and they squatted on farmers' and ranchers' lands illegally. They left garbage behind. If these protesters were there truly for peace, it might have looked like this: Martin Luther King in D.C. or Gandhi was peaceful protests. In fact, I have even participated in peaceful protests. The 9/12 Project, We the People, a 2009 Tax Day Tea Party, peaceful protest. If they were peaceful protests, there would not have been up to 100 arrests or scenes of destruction. They would have come back and cleaned up or waited to clean up after at the reservation after the thaw, averting that possible environmental crisis. But these fossil fuel fanatics have their own agenda. They can't be honest about why they came to Standing Rock. Isn't it ironic that fossil fuel fanatics are riding bicycles made of oil byproducts, wearing backpacks and carrying plastic made of oil byproducts? If they wanted to live without fossil fuel, they would be like the guy on the top right, wearing the fig leaf and carrying a stick. Americans consume 3.5 gallons of oil or oil byproducts a day of whatever we use. If you look at the list, I'm sure you'll find something that you've used. The hypocrisy of these water protectors thinking they can live without oil byproducts is unrealistic at best. We're all connected. Life is not perfect. But if we are honest about our causes, maybe it could be. We all want love, but if we can't have that, maybe at least we can live in peace and harmony. The First Amendment guarantees freedom of speech and right to peaceful assembly. I believe in the right to peaceful assembly. I believe in having a place to argue your positions in debates. But I am really tired of organizations co-opting movements for their own personal gain. My name is Rick Rogers. Thank you.